Hey everybody, Bill Murphy here with MMOARPG.com, and we are live tonight from the Devilian fourth and final weekend of closed beta, playing with the Trion Worlds folks, Evan Scapes Berman and Andrew Drewcifer Sippets. Say hi, guys.
Hey there.
And Drew's
hey guys, thank you for having us.
Drew's busy. If you can see on my screen right there, guys, he's Taylor Swift next to me, the beautiful, talented Taylor Swift. And he's busy looting himself up, because we're cheating. It's the beta. In the meantime, though, while he's getting himself prepared, why don't we talk a little bit about Devilian, what it is in general, and kind of what this beta period brings into the game? Because I know there were a lot of new changes, guys. So, Evan, if you wanna fire off some of that stuff.
Absolutely. So, Devilian is basically what happens when you take everything that you love about action RPG, everything that you love about MMOs, and you basically smash them together a whole lot. It sounds like a silly concept at the get-go, but then you actually start playing, and you realize, oh man, these features actually really work well in concert together. Let's see, Devilian is developed actually by Bluehole Geno over in Korea. This is our second third-party published title here at Trion Worlds. On the team is, as you mentioned, Andrew, but also Victoria Voss, and actually myself for a time. I've since moved on to focusing on our live streamers and our live streams, but definitely still very much enamored with this title. It's just got a lot of promise, and I'm really, really, really excited that we're in the fourth beta weekend, and we're in our last closed beta. We got open beta coming up really quick, and we are launching this year, so there's not a lot of year left, and I'm going to let my voice trail off.
Is the open beta going to be something that you guys wipe before the actual head start and stuff, or is it like still a true testing period, or is it actually like, launch, like Trove's open beta was kind of launch?
See, this is why I like working with you, because you pointed out a phase that I completely forgot to mention, Head Start.
There you go.
So, yeah, basically, we will definitely be doing a wipe before Head Start begins, so it'll be right after open beta. So all the progress that's occurred during the course of the beta will not carry on into live service. However, we will have our alpha server basically turning into our PTS, our public test server. Whether that data stays or not, still up in the air. But right now, we're more focused on launching the game. So Head Start will be basically when people can actually start really committing to their characters and growing them and making them their own forever.
Forever. See, that's the thing for me too, because I played all the 4 characters in alpha probably to about their 20s, which was enough to kind of get a feel for them, and now I'm just ready for launch to happen, which is very soon, so that's good.
Yeah, it's been a really wild ride, actually, because we only announced, I want to say, gosh, like not even 6 months ago.
Was it E3?
I think it was close to E3.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly E3. It was around Gamescom. It was
that
right around Gamescom because we got those really cool light up horns.
That's right, and I think we saw you guys first at E3 in like the big press room with all 4 games running. Yeah.
That sounds very familiar. Absolutely, yeah, that's true. Because then later on in Cologne, Germany, I donned the wings and cosplayed at our own party. So, but no, it was good times. Since then, though, it has been absolutely wild. The community is both really ravenous for the game, and also at the same time has been extremely helpful in making it just really the game that it is today.
Well, let's talk about some of those changes real quick while Andrew's getting ready, because there have been a lot since the very first alpha test. Like some of the big things that I guess are the Western community has sort of helped you guys with.
Yeah, absolutely. So just I guess from the get-go, I actually have to now remember back a half year, but that's cool.
Good luck.
One of the things that just come to mind is, in the very, very early tests, the very early alphas, or actually, no, we called it pre-alpha at the time, people were definitely taking a look at where the game had already been published. So it was published in Korea and over in Thailand, and they were seeing what they liked and what they didn't like. And one of the things that they really didn't like was, for instance, the fact that the cosmetic items had stats on them. And this was originally kind of seen as, it's an Eastern title, it's more accepted over there. But Bluehole Geno's very interested in making the game work for the West. They really are actually willing to actually fork the game in terms of version. and have a unique one for North America and for Europe, so for the Trion published regions. This also was definitely encouraged by the community, because when they saw stats on cosmetics, they were very concerned. They didn't want to have to wear specific cosmetics to get to be able to min-max in PvP. That just didn't seem right to them. Even though you can turn off the cosmetics, it just wasn't something that they wanted to do. Neither did we. And so we went back to the devs, and I say we went back to the devs. Devs actually came to us here in Redwood Shores, and what was hilarious is that as we came up with our list of stuff to that we wanted to see change the game, they presented their list of stuff. And their list was exactly pulled from the forums. They actually had been reading the entire time that we had
Ninjas.
been working with them. They've been reading the forums and taking notes. And I'm like, wait a second, this looks exactly like one of my forum reports, one of my feedback reports. And so it's been fantastic. They've been harvesting the exact same things, reading the exact same insights, and they were in complete agreement. So I think it was maybe, I don't know how many builds later. Andrew actually may know better. It was a couple builds later. Statted cosmetics were no longer a thing.
Which will show people, actually, there's the cosmetic items down here and stuff like that. And the marketplace. Oh, the marketplace is loading. Please try again later. Oh, there it is. So yeah, the cosmetics and everything are right here, and obviously you buy them with your. Can you get these? What do you call the in-game currency? Just credits.
Credits.
Yeah. Can you get those from playing the game too, like you do in Rift and so forth? Like, is there like a Rex exchange, or is that something that you haven't really talked about yet?
There is a Rex exchange.
I'll go ahead and grab that.
Yeah, go right ahead. Take it away.
Go for it. Here's Drew.
Hey guys, sorry. I've been in the background setting up my my GM character. So, so there is a currency called Arc Gemstones that's obtained from the game. You get them from the leaderboard, placing high on that. You get them from daily login activities, challenges. You get a fairly decent amount of them pretty quickly, and you can exchange Arc Gemstones for pretty much the same items that you could find in the store, minus the cosmetic items, which are only available in your place.
It's funny, as I was showing the store, I was reminded of a bug I noticed when I was streaming Devilian before. When you pull up the store, or even just maybe your character paper doll, it like takes over the stream output. I don't know why. That's a very strange thing. I don't know if you're aware of that one.
Yeah, aware of it.
That's a weird one.
The streaming software, and it's been one that's kind of difficult to track down because we have to work with another company to try to resolve it. So it's a little bit slower going than some of our bugs that are entirely on our side.
What I will do is I'll bring up the store and I'll kind of explain the kind of things you see there, because people are asking about them, even if they have to just look at the character right now. There's appearance items, which, as we just went over, they don't have stats anymore. Pure cosmetic stuff. There are functionality things, but it's when it comes to functionality, it's mostly like skill page expansion tickets. So if you want to have another spec, you can do that, kind of like you do in Rift. There's expansions for your warehouse and for your inventory and things like that. There are, of course, mounts and pets, but you can also get those mounts and pets in the game without having to buy them from the store. And then there are Devilian items, but they're not in there yet. I haven't seen any Devilian items. I don't know.
So that tab was used to store Devilian increasing gear from the original version.
Oh, okay.
So we've removed that.
Oh, cool.
That's one of those aspects that we don't think will, players really don't want stuff that'll affect you in PvP to be sold in the store.
Okay.
So another thing that we yanked out ahead of going into alpha.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we'll probably repurpose that tab to be something, I don't know, something more fun.
All corgis, all corgis all the time.
Yeah,
sounds like
the
a good plan
corgi
to
tab.
The corgi tab, I would like that.
I'm set up now if we want to go ahead and start queuing up for a battle ground.
All right.
Because I really want to show this new feature off, and I think that's kind of one of the really interesting things
explain
doing.
Explain the new feature. That's kind of the reason I initiated this stream, was you made some significant changes to PvP that are part of this beta and obviously going into the launch. So go ahead and kind of explain them, and I'll queue up for the. Should we do Decayed Sanctum level 30, level 52?
Yeah, Decayed Sanctum level 30 is the one that.
Okay.
And actually, well, I'm gonna go ahead and queue up for it as well.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to write a quick message in the server chat letting players know to queue up for this. It is a 20 versus 20 battleground,
Okay.
so sometimes it helps just shout into the server chat to go ahead and queue up for this.
And do you have any information yet about what the patron will entail? Are you guys ready to talk about that yet? The patron subscription?
I have actually seen some internal. Actually, just quickly, I'll open, then you can finish it off. We are definitely testing a lot of things with regards to the patron benefits. We tried out a couple of things. They didn't work at first, as in literally didn't work in the game. So obviously, before we make any sort of statement as to what they had, we wanted to make sure they were working. And I'll actually let Andrew take it because I think he's got the follow-up to that.
So they're still in testing.
Still in testing. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where if something's not going to work, we don't want to announce it. Make a promise basically that we have to rescind because it's still in testing. So we should have it fully finalized, fully functioning ahead of our open beta. So we'll have more details around that time period for it.
Cool. I actually moved over to the Wingflight Village in good lord, the Misty Highlands, because it's a higher level area. We can go kill some stuff over here if you wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna move to the PvP channel 1-2 also, just in case there's anybody out here ready to kill me. You can always tell people that are high enough level to come meet us. That's the Sagaro Coast. I don't want to go Sagaro Coast. Yeah, go. I think did we actually cover all of the PvP changes? If you want to talk about that a little bit, Andrew.
Yeah. Sorry, I was firing off this message that you'll see spammed across your screen in just a moment here.
Okay.
And oops, I accidentally just sent that to the European server, not the US server. Sorry.
Sorry, European server.
Yes. Probably just saw a very confused.
Oh, arena match found.
Okay.
Enter battleground.
Oh. Get in on that.
Well, okay, so one of the big things here, in the other versions of Devilian, you had to be in your Devilian form for PvP, which is an alternate sort of ultimate form of your character that's usually, in PvE, it's short-lasting. It only lasts for a few seconds. In PvP, you could use it, but you could only use it in PvP. So now you can just be in normal form. And then you switch. Is it locked? You can't use your Devilian thing, or can you switch between the two?
So I think a lot of people viewing are probably unfamiliar with Devilian and how PvP worked previously.
Yeah.
So you're right. In the previous version, PvP was entirely in Devilian form, which is that kind of supercharged version of your character. You gain access to all these different skills. You have higher health, different different equipment. It's kind of this whole separate system that exists on top of your normal character. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of reasons. For one is Devilian form was a lot more aggressive, a lot more powerful, and the skills were set up specifically for PvP, but also had some PvE abilities or helpfulness to it. And in the original versions, that was kind of just how it was, and it was fun. But when we brought it over here, the most immediate, loudest feedback that we had was, we want a PvP in normal form. We don't want to be in Devilian form. And we came back and said, okay, Bluehole Geno, that's the number one piece of feedback that we're getting. What can be done about this? And they said, that is a lot of work. The balance around that, getting the systems to run, we have this whole list of tasks for getting to launch, all these other changes that need to go in. I don't know if this is going to make it. But we kept hearing that feedback, and it was the number one feedback. And we sent surveys out, and that was the number one requested feature. So while we're getting all this feedback, Bluehole Geno is secretly has a couple of guys kind of burning some midnight hours trying to build this out. And about 2 months ago, they were visiting us in Redwood Shores and said, "Hey guys, to build this, and it'll be available in the next couple of weeks for you guys to start testing." So we've known about this for about 2 months, mm-hmm. and it's been one of those things that we really we're really excited to share with the players, but we had to keep it under wraps for quite a bit.
You weren't quite sure if it was actually going to work yet?
To launch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are able to get it going. And I'll be the first to admit that balance and making all of these abilities play well with each other is a monumental task. And we made some adjustments, before we released it to players, but in the end, there's too many variables. We need to have actual players testing the system and finding every possible combination of attacks in order for us to actually make this a balanced system. So
now,
we decided just, hey, put it out there for the players.
So is there still Devilian form PvP then?
Yes, there's still, so right now there's 7 different battlegrounds, 3 in normal form, 3 in Devilian form, and then 1 that's kind of a mixed PvP, PvE style game mode.
And how do you know the difference between the two? Like when you're looking at the map, will you know offhand, like, oh, that's this, or not the map, but the UI?
Yeah, if you look through the UI, it'll say what. Oh man, sorry, I'm trying to PvP at this.
So am I. Oh god! Oh god!
So
the gunner! The gunner!
But yeah, in the UI, it'll describe what you're queuing up for. In addition, the other big feature that we added was what we call Devilian War, which is the conquering of territory for your guild. It's an open world PvP system where you're in normal form, you're fighting other players, you're fighting other guilds for control of different areas of the Devilian world.
We're both PvPing, so things might get quiet for a second, especially since I don't know what I'm doing. This is insane amounts of special effects on the screen right now. I think I hit somebody. Thank God for that.
If you have a mountain, I believe you do. You are able to use your mountain in this battleground.
Oh yeah, I was using that before.
Because you're not able to in Devilian form.
Yeah. Oh
no.
no.
You have a terrible strategy right now. Are you on team Bolton or Heimdus?
Heimdus.
Oh, we're against each other.
Oh good. I'm winning.
You are winning, but we have a terrible strategy. My team just keeps going towards
the same one.
Concentration of players.
Yeah, I'm actually walking down to the other side right now to see if anybody's down there.
All right.
This is the PvP is probably like I know we're pretty good friends on MMOARPG with Doc Got Game, and he's like Devilian is gonna have crazy PvP, and now that this is going, he's really excited.
Yeah, we saw him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, it's alright. I was just saying we actually just saw him earlier today, checking out the latest build, and he definitely had some very choice, positive things to say about it. He was.
I'm dead.
He had very exciting things to say about that. So no, I'm really excited to see it in action.
One of the things I love is that the first time we really ran this with our players, we played it a few times internally and with our development partner, but once we had it going yesterday morning, and I did a bit of a live stream on the Trion Worlds account. It was super cool to see players starting to kind of like naturally develop strategies, like seeing Evoker use a crowd control spell while I'm at my oh crap, I'm in a fight.
Now, is there anything that gets normalized? Because there's a lot of different level players in here right now. Is there any sort of like boosts for lower level players when they're playing against the higher level players?
Yeah, so when you're looking at the PvP match types, you'll notice that basically any of the ones that are below the level 50 range are bolstered, which means they will bump up all your characters to an adequate power range.
Okay. Sorry, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, thanks, guys. The one thing that doesn't get bolstered is the number of skills you have. So that's kind of the area that an experienced player or a player who's been playing for a while will have access to more skills or their entire skill set than a player who's jumping in at level 30.
Trying to kill Iggy. Like, you don't... One of the things about Devilian that I think people that are discounting it, it's from Bluehole Jinno, it's from Korea, it's it's going to be like Terra and that kind of thing, is the fact that It's basically an action. It's like if Diablo had giant, massive PvP battles, and it doesn't. So it's like it's kind of cornered a market, and I don't think people realize that yet.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's kind of hard to really show off very well in screenshots and such. Is that you know, at least going in the past, because we've
Someone found something funny.
Stuff. But yeah, I think Doc.Game had a really great description of it, where he said it's as if Terra and Diablo had a video game baby.
Yeah, that's exactly how I described it to him when he asked me about it. So he should probably, because he's like, hey, should I get this game?
The quick way to describe it, but I appreciate it. I mean,
yeah.
I'm glad. You know, this is an MMO first and foremost. And that's really what sets it apart from other games. Is the other players, the social elements, the guilds, the PvP, dungeon runs, like everything that you love about MMOs. But the combat is action RPG and it's isometric.
Oh, Iggy almost got me.
I am doing so poorly.
I've only died once, but that's because I have a level 53 super boosted evoker, so I'm not gonna gloat. Gonna try to boost this. Turn that around.
It's true. It may be beta, but we still have very, very dedicated players who have been doing a lot of PvP.
Almost died.
Yeah, PvP tends to be what I play a lot during my free time.
With the world sort of guild versus guild, like zone domination PvP, it has me very excited. Because it's still optional, you know, like you don't have to do it, but when you're ready to do it, it's there waiting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It exists in its own separate PvP chart that you can warp to at any time. So you never are going to be in a situation where, oh crap, I just wandered into open world PvP.
Yeah.
You'll always be very, very aware. And if it happens to your character, you get disconnected or you exit the game, and that it'll log you back into a non-PvP. Wow, that would be... somebody just got like 10 kills at once on my team.
Well, it wasn't me. I might have been one of those 10 kills, though. This map is all about capturing the camps and holding them as long as you can, right? It's a capture and hold.
Yeah, it's definitely that kind of domination gameplay. You'll notice that there's towers, like watchtowers, that you can capture as well. And then there's NPCs that spawn that if you defeat them, they will grant you bonuses.
Okay. Can you queue as a whole party to go into these?
Not right now. It will be available before we release.
Awesome. Because pre-mades, you know, while it sucks to be on the receiving end of them, it is the preferred way to play for guilds and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh boy. Who's talking right now on somebody's open mic?
I'm not quite sure.
Guessing that's over on Evans. I know that voice.
No, it's probably my lovely team. My bad.
No, it's okay. It's funny. I don't know if they were making fun of our PvPing.
It's heading towards the end of the day at Trion Worlds. Things get a little goofy, especially
true.
Especially on update days.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. Things do get goofy. You guys have booze there.
Not on Thursdays.
Oh, not on Thursdays. Fridays.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought. What's the difference? Oh, look at that. Oh Lord.
There's booze. It's just not out in the open on Thursdays.
Yeah, it's under Evan's desk.
Correct. Actually, more correct than you know.
I still have leftover PBR from Extra Life.
Oh jeez. So now people are wondering if if they bought a Founders Pack, what Founders Pack level do they have to buy right now to get in this weekend in the 24/7 alpha?
Any of the Founders Packs will get them in for the beta. So this weekend, any of the Founders Packs will get them in. For the alpha that's up 24/7, only the Obsidian Pack gets you into that.
Okay.
Give alpha codes out to live streamers on Twitch. So if you have a favorite live streamer who streams Devilian, chances are we've given them a bunch of codes that they also give out.
Plus, I think there are 5,000 or left. Maybe probably less than that by now because that was early this morning. Probably a couple thousand left over at MMOARPG. if you want into the
Oh
beta
yeah,
this
and our
weekend.
favorite website has them.
So you guys can hop in this beta weekend, which is the last beta weekend, and I am surrounded. Bye bye. That's the only time I've ever felt weak. Maybe I should try to stick near my teammates. Let me toss out the link. People are. Let's see.
We got completely steamrolled. This is probably the most I've ever lost by.
I was going to be polite and say that it was a good tactical effort by by everyone involved, but no, that was a massacre.
So that was pretty
That
great,
was
and I only had 2 kills, but I had 24 assists. I'll take it.
Good team player.
Yeah, the other Futoi or whatever you want to call him had 44 kills. Nice. Let's see. Taylor Swift had 0. Just saying.
So
Look, he was focused on
of
providing
things
you with
that-
good commentary.
The Alpha 24/7 Alpha, how long does it last? I think we might have covered that earlier, but just in case. But it does last until it gets released, then it becomes the public test server.
That is the plan.
What do you want to queue for now? Same thing?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do one more. I
Okay.
about halfway through that match realized that my hotkeys were set up kind of crazily, so I'm making a couple of quick adjustments.
All right, we'll do that.
Let's see. Grabbing some other good questions from the chat here. We're releasing Dawnsta. We're releasing Devilian this year, which obviously there's not a lot of year left. After we get out of this last closed beta event, we're going to be going into open beta, followed by head start, and then full launch. All going to happen really, really quickly.
Really quickly, yeah. There's like less than a month left. Well, just about a month left in the year.
Yeah. We got Turkey Day and we got holidays, so yeah, not a lot of time left.
What's the lore behind the Decayed Sanctum? Because Bolton and Heimdus, I thought they were. Wait, I could be confusing because I'm not. Like I said, I haven't played in a couple weeks. Aren't they kind of on the same team?
So I'm the worst one to answer lore questions. Kevin Van Ord and Andrew B. Bartosz, they are absolutely the lore masters. To kind of give the down and dirty description, it's almost as if we're training the Devilian army and readying them for battle against Cavell and his minions.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the setup for it.
But what about? So this one is all training. Then it's like you've got one commander and another commander saying, "My team can beat your team."
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
And so in Devilian, there's no kind of like factions. It's not you choose one side or the other. Everybody's on the same side. So when you queue up for PvP, it pairs you with one of the teams to battle against the other team.
There we go. And then the Devilian War PvP, that's kind of like guild territory control. You like if you control zones, you get rewards at the end of how long of a period?
So in beta this weekend, it's per day. It starts at 6 a.m. in the morning is when it rolls over. When we move into live, it's going to be by the week.
Okay.
So guilds will have an entire week to kill each other and conquer.
And is it whoever holds it at the end of that week, or is it whoever holds it the longest amount of time over the course of the week?
It's a point-based system, so as you make kills in the endless hunting grounds for the zone, you accumulate points. You need to actually redeem those points to a capture master before they are calculated as your guild's total.
Gotcha, okay.
The fun thing is, if you're killed by another player before you get to
return them in.
Before you get to that capture master, the other player gets
that
those points.
Sucks. not in a bad way. That sucks for me.
But it's also, you really need to coordinate with your guild and your guild alliance if you want to take a territory, because if you have players who are farming points, you need to be able to offer them protection and keep them safe when they try to redeem them.
Boom.
Alright, I'm feeling pretty good about this one now.
So am I. Are you on my team?
Maybe. I'm on my Heimdus.
I'm on Bolton's.
Oh!
We meet again.
We're never gonna... You are my enemy!
All right, orange has that tower. Now, what do the towers do exactly?
So the altars are the things that we're capturing for points, and the towers, if you look at the mini map, kind of give you a fog of war removal.
Oh, okay, I see. Like for that area.
No, Taylor Swift, live.
Don't die, girl. I got frozen.
Yeah, so crowd control in any PvP game is a tricky topic. There's a couple of themes that we do in Devilian. One is that there's a debuff removal potion that's on a very long cooldown. Those are only obtained from in-game. You can get them from things like PvP matches, from Endless Hunting Grounds, from doing the Guild War systems, and things like that. And so those are kind of, it always helps to have a stock of those in your inventory. And then we're moving forward, we're going to start creating a few more systems around balance. Like I said, the system is very new. We don't expect it, and we hope players will be understanding, which, sometimes, but we have a really great beta and alpha community, so we're hoping that players will be understanding that this feature is brand new, and there's definitely going to be some balance work ahead of us. But, those guys have been great getting their feedback into the forums. And really, this whole feature exists because they asked for it as hard as they did.
Is there any one class that you have gotten feedback over being like powerful or weak or anything like that?
So from our QA team, there's a constant argument about Berserker versus Evoker.
Okay.
I have it sounds like I'm cheating a little bit, but I actually have data on which class is performing the best. So it's interesting to see what the player perception is of what the most powerful classes are versus what the data shows us.
And share.
Things like crowd control is what tends to give players a perception of power.
I see.
Like actual success.
Yeah. Because the Evoker is all about crowd control, really.
Yeah.
In one form.
Yeah.
Why? So, question: Bill is not sure whose team he is on. Why is that not more obvious? Bill is not sure whose team he is on. I'm pretty sure. That's not a. Yeah, I can tell whose team. I can tell that I'm on. The Bolton's camp based on the color of the stuff that we're turning, and then when it comes to the see, look, upper left-hand corner, it says Bolton's camp, and then it has our raid group, and the only reason I was saying, am I on Drew's team, is because I didn't know if Taylor Swift is in here. We didn't party up or queue up as a party because it's not in the beta yet. I think that's what they were asking.
Oh, yeah, that's why I dropped out of the parties.
Yeah.
You can't queue up in a party yet.
Ow, just got wrecked. This is insane. There's a lot of evokers here right now on this team.
So I love the strategies that players are creating with the new with all your abilities. Like they're intelligently laying down traps. They're kiting other players. This is a completely different PvP than we've been doing for the last couple of months. And I know I've been hooked on it. I've been doing this all day.
Yeah, it seems like, without having to worry about Devilian form, which you honestly don't get to play with that much unless you're playing in PvP, it gives you a little more chance to use the class that you actually know.
Yeah, and along with that, I know that there's some improvements that can happen with Devilian form and making that more useful in PvE, and there's more discussions being had there. It was very much PvP heavy and about utilizing those Devilian skills in PvP, so I think there's more room to improve that.
Dude, the fire fields, the flame field from the Evoker, when you have 4 Evokers drop one, it's insane.
And it shuts off basically an entire lane.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting strategies kind of get created on the fly like that.
I'm really excited to play this with a large guild, to be honest.
Now there is guild versus guild PvP in Devilian, and it's this game mode. So there is
nice.
that is functional and that does work. and crap. I'm just getting
Pummeled.
annihilated.
I'm starting to think that when you put a team full of evokers, we're unstoppable.
I'm starting to think that if I have a giant flag that says GM over my head,
that doesn't help either.
Yeah.
Well, we did talk about GM aggro being a factor whenever you're PvPing.
Do you have a fear that it seems like the range classes really have kind of an advantage, but what gives the melee classes a little bit more of a chance to get in on the others in PvP, like the evoker and the gunner?
So like I mentioned earlier, we have to really kind of be careful when we talk about balance and what classes are being more successful and stuff, because it's one of those things where we have to look at data also, and sometimes the opinions don't match the data, and in that case, that is one of the the times.
Okay.
So melee classes from a data perspective are doing just fine. It's the perception of, like I said, crowd control and range classes' ability to kite and things like that give players a sense that those classes have an advantage.
Okay.
So I think moving forward, there's a lot more opportunities to do things like being able to give abilities that are more PvP centric, like being able to close the gap on a range class, or being able to break crowd control, things like that. This is a very new system, and it's really exciting.
Yep.
To think about what this creates a base for, like what improvements are going to come to Devilian because we have this new system.
You do you have do you and Bluehole Gino have a plan for balance then, based around this? It's completely kind of new, as you said. So is there some sort of strategy you guys are taking already, or are you just kind of waiting to see how the data plays out over the course of the beta weekends?
It definitely will be how we respond to players and feedback, and collecting information there, as well as collecting data. So yeah, the important thing is to see data come in from this closed beta test and see what performed best, and make a plan based off that data. It doesn't help to come up with a plan.
Yeah.
You have kind of evidence to support what
I walked right into a wall of red, including Taylor Swift. Is there are other classes in the other version of the game, in the Thai version, right? There's one more class that is not going to make launch. Is that correct?
Correct.
The Warlock,
like
or
kept secret in MMO games, is that there is a new class coming, and the kind of the way we've set up Devilian, at the level cap that it's at, and with the content that it has, and without that new class, is because, and this is, might be a personal opinion, but when I come into an MMO that has kind of existed for a while and has gone through a couple of expansions and a couple of max level resets, it's unsatisfying that I don't get to experience the content that at the level that it was originally created at the challenge that it was envisioned to be played at. And that's not fair. I think when you're bringing it over another title from a different part of the world. So we want players to experience content at the level it was designed at, and have that challenge and have that fun. So we'll be launching at level 52 with a pretty robust end game, and then the plan is to roll out updates at a much quicker pace than they originally came out, until we're fairly on par with the other territories.
Okay.
And then, Bill, actually, I just wanted to expand on something you talked about a few minutes ago. There was a very cool moment where, while you were playing an action RPG, you said the phrase, "I can't wait to tackle this content, this PvP content, with a guild."
That's true.
So just something to bear in mind is that, it's that notion of, well, here's action RPG gameplay with, massive PvP content, and the support for guilds as well. And so it's just this combination, like all the flavors that you like, all in one title. It's a very cool amalgam.
And loads of loot.
Yes, loads of loot. It's true.
Are there gear sets and things like that to obtain as well? I mean, yeah, there are. I've noticed there are a few, but are there tiers of gear and stuff like that for people to chase after at the cap?
Yeah, so the loot system in the game is kind of a combination of what you've seen in ARPGs, where it's randomized stats, and you kill the champion boss to get that sort of slot machine feel. But in Devilian, it's based around dungeon runs towards the end game.
Okay.
So there are armor sets, there are things like that, but armor is a little more handcrafted and balanced around content progression than it is in a normal ARPG.
Oh, knocked down, and I'm dead. Are there skills that help people get up from a knockdown or anything like that? Like limited use?
There are.
Yeah,
Yes.
a couple of classes have different ways to control crowd control tactics like that, as well as those debuff potions we were talking about earlier will always break crowd control.
And while we're talking about PvP and playing PvP and showcasing that because this is brand new. This is like a brand new feature to the game. But there is like there's a whole cadre of dungeons, and there's actually like an endless dungeon too to kind of test to see how well you and a party can do. Is that I can't remember what they call it, the tower, the infinite dungeon, or what is it called?
Now it's called the Abyssal Tower.
The Abyssal Tower, that's it.
While it was testing and while we were doing Loke, we referred to it as the Endless Tower. But yeah, it's sort of a challenge mode. How far can you go? How fast can you go? Kind of setup. And there's actually a full leaderboard for it. And especially, I know in Alpha, there's kind of this like fight club forming up around, challenging it to get further.
It's also a great way to level. At least it was in earlier Alpha stages, because it was really quick to get levels as opposed to just doing quests. As soon as you had the tower to go do the tower, I gained like 4 levels doing one run. I don't know if that was intentional.
Yeah, it's still a great. Yeah, it was. It's still a great way to level up, get gear, get items. It's a really handy way to level up your Devilian form. And whenever players ask like, okay, what's a fast way to level us up? I always point them to that tower if they don't want to necessarily jump into PvP.
Yeah. I don't want to die.
Go ahead.
Nothing. I'm just talking to myself. I don't want to die.
Oh, well, that's a good goal. And actually, just taking more questions out of the chat here, since we were talking about other goals for Endgame. The person who was asking about not liking PvP, does that make up the whole of the Endgame, or is there more to do in terms of story or PvE content? And the short answer is actually that we do have raids coming to the game as early as next year, which is not shortly after it launches. And there are also, of course, very hard dungeons called Archdevil dungeons.
Oh yeah, those are really big.
Oh yeah, and those are definitely PvE, not PvP.
It's like Evan was saying earlier. It's a full featured MMOARPG. It even has a let's see if I can find it here. Is it additional information? Is it additional information that I want? Yeah, proficiency, which is an alternate advancement system. So when you hit the max level, or I think it's account wide, right? It's for all your characters.
Correct.
Okay, and you use XP after. Is it only after you have one character at the max level? If you guys want to explain it, I shouldn't ask.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you hit level 50, you have an option of either continuing to level up towards the max level of 52, or you can dump that experience into proficiencies, which, as you explained, similar to alternate advancement in EverQuest and other systems of that ilk. It allows you to kind of customize, put points towards what you want. You can also increase things like the amount of gold that drops from dungeons. And then your characters that you have, your alt characters also benefit from that. So it's very important. I think that players don't feel like they have to grind out that, and it feels like a much more natural part of playing the game and continuing on the leveling path. And always feeling like even if you did an Archdevil dungeon and the loot you want didn't drop, at least you got that huge chunk of experience points that you can go dump into proficiencies.
See, that's pretty awesome too, and it's again just another way that you actually can continue to progress your characters at the max level too, which to me is very important in any game that's level based, because progression is the fun part.
Yeah, and I think one of the ways I always love describing this game is like you can log in and progress your character in some way in 15 minutes. There's so many systems, so many ways to enhance your character to make them stronger. There's a talisman system, proficiencies, gear, all PvP, Devilian form. It's a very systems geek heavy game, and it's especially as I've gotten older and my MMO time has been being eaten away by real life. Games like this have been really amazing for me because I can just jump in and have a really quick adventure. And, tools like party matching and battleground matching and all that stuff just means that I'm able to get to the content, able to get to the adventure a lot faster.
Absolutely, and there's a whole bunch of instant content in this game too, which it's funny because Bluehole Gino, I remember talking to Scott, and maybe actually you, Evan, or maybe actually you, Drew, at E3, that they took a lot of features that they liked from Trion games when they were making this one by themselves before it was part of Trion's game. They said, we like these rifts, we're going to do something like rifts, and there actually are rift type events. So I think that's really cool.
Indeed.
Yeah, we saw them and we thought, what should we call these? Let's just call them rifts.
Let's just call them rifts. And now the beautiful part is when you start putting actual rift type stuff, like you said, you're going to do cross promotion type things from other games. You might see mounts for the Hellbugs from Defiance and stuff like that show up in here.
Yeah, we're definitely talking. Trion. We have quite a few MMOs under our belt at this point, and Devilian's joining right alongside the family. Even though it's a third-party title, we want to get those items and those cool things in as well. And then we have Atlas Reactor coming out at some point. I don't think we've ever built any sort of timeline for that.
Don't leak that here, please. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Things we could do there.
And I mean, there's the whole talisman system too that we didn't even talk about, which are cards, and you can have two different, or at least two different talisman sets, which can completely change your stats and things like that as well. And you can combine cards and level up the cards and all this other stuff. So that's a whole other system that we didn't even talk about. See, there's lots of stuff. I do think that that's kind of all the time we had planned out for now. Is there anything else that you wanted to say, Drew, before you get to go home?
Well, I actually got to stay home today because,
before you get to eat dinner,
figured it was just better to sit at my computer at home. No, I think beta's active right now. You can grab a key from MMOARPG.com. A couple of our other partners out there have keys. We give keys to our live streamers. Really. All I ask is check out the game and have fun this weekend. I mean, it's this new featured PvP, the PvP takeover stuff. It's really fun. As an ARPG fan, as an MMO fan,
I can concur.
This is a game that I've been waiting for. This is a game that I want to play. And I hope that you guys will join us and hang out with us in beta.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Like, if you are a fan of action RPGs, but you always wish that there was one that was like an MMO, this is the game for you. And check out the beta and get ready for launch because it's not too far away.
Not at all.
Yeah.
All right, Scapes, thanks as always, man. It's always a pleasure to talk with you as well. Is there anything you wanted to say as a fond farewell?
Honestly, I'm just looking forward to seeing people in the game this weekend, and with launch not too far away, we've got a lot coming. I mean, we have a very, very aggressive and some would say ambitious content schedule for 2016. I'm seeing a lot of people asking, questions that we're actually going to have answers to. Really, even just before launch, like people asking about what the patron bonuses are going to be, asking about what the tie-in rewards are that we may have between the titles. Will Hellbugs make an appearance in Devilian, for instance, stuff like that, which actually we have been talking about. And then other more meta topics like, how are we going to balance class PvP versus Devilian PvP? How we're going to keep them both compelling. So there's a lot of... it's a very exciting time to be part of the game's community. It's a very exciting time to be publishing the game because there's just so much curiosity around it, and it's just... very thrilling to be at that stage finally. After only, a
short time. You say finally,
6 months, right? So it's been a total whirlwind, and it's just getting started.
Awesome. Well, guys, hop into the closed beta, go grab a key, watch some streams, and I'm sure more keys will be going out all weekend long. So thanks for watching. Thanks, Trion, for taking some time out of your evening here to play with us, and good luck with the launch, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.